templates before. Only need my light up. Always keep your area pretty neat. There we go. Righto. So, when I mark out a board, everyone's different. Everyone's got their own way of doing it, okay? What I do, I just use my ruler, put the 1 foot mark there, extend it to here, put a little mark there, 1 foot to here. Okay, now I don't even measure this, I just go roughly in the middle, about there, that's the center. Now the board's 23 wide, so I'll put that there. 23, so I'll just extend my pencil a fraction. There we go. Right, 23, and then, yep, that's spot on. 23. And then this one's got the 15-inch tail. Where is it? Yep, 15. And 18¼ nose. Now I don't have to put these marks on. I can just, when you're production shaping, I'll show you a little trick. 18¼ Now when you're production shaping and you're marking out your board, you don't even need to do, and you only do the center mark, okay? Because what you do is, that's the Easy Rider. Sorry, I'm just getting my template sorted out. Here it is. Flat HP short bottom. Now what you do is you have a mark on the nose and a mark on the tail. Okay, now I'll set this up with the mark in the center, okay, and the mark on the tail, right, see right there, just in the center there, and here. Now I won't even look at the 1 foot mark to see if it's right. I'll draw that on. There we go. So it's pretty well, this is when you're production shaping, you don't even measure the nose and tail. You adjust this template here to understand where you have to be, okay? I just put the measurement there just to make sure. You know, just to make sure it's exactly what it is. Only if the string is slightly twisted or something. Right, so I marked that. See there? I didn't have to put that mark there, but I know it's going to be right on the 18¼ mark. That's when you're production shape, and that's when you're doing 5 or 6 mils a day, and you've got to be real quick. Okay, so I'll put that there, put that here. There we go. Throw that on. There we go. Now most of the time saving comes in if your templates are exact, okay? This is where you save a lot of time. And you make sure your templates are perfect. You know exactly what you can do with them and what you can't do with them, okay? You've got to know them, they're so important. I have one for each model. Righto, so you put your weight there. Oh no, I don't need that yet, sorry. There we go, we just saw this. Actually, I'll put my aircon on. I was wondering why it wasn't cool. There we go. So you saw like this. See the line? Come on, battery. Now my battery's starting to go flat. Now make sure you use your whole battery up till it stops completely. So you're using every ounce of it up. A lot of people stop before they do that. Right, I always break up this. It's easier to package rubbish broken up. Now, this one, make sure it's not on the stand. See how it's running out, but I'm letting it run out completely. Now it's better to use up all your battery. Okay, so now it's going to charge from that point again. So battery in there, new battery straight in. Now this is full juice. Get it all ready and so that was back of a full battery. You always have a couple of batteries. I do with my mask, everything. You always have spare batteries. Clean up as you go. Never have your, this is as dirty as my room gets. I'll clean this up the next couple of days. Don't be one of those ones where they have a big pile of shit on the floor. I've seen a person kick one of these blades because they were a cool hipster with no shoes on. If you wear no shoes, leather shoes in a workroom, you're an idiot. I'm sorry to say, but you're really asking for a serious injury. Always wear leather shoes. Anyway, let's get back to this. Right, you just drop the board and all the dust falls off it, okay? I always start by doing the tail. Looks good. Now, I don't have to do much work to this because it's perfect. All I'm doing is taking it down to the middle of the line. Righto, you get up here, you look down the rail. Righto, I'm looking down the rail there, perfect, no flat spots or bumps. Now check it from this end, doesn't matter which end you check it from, bounce it, have a look at the rail. I can see a couple of spots there that need to be touched up. I'll show you from the front. Right, I see right here and right here. I know I have to anyway because the pencil lines needs rubbing back. And right here. Now look at that again, bounce it. That looks pretty bloody good. A little bit here. And a little bit here. Bounce it. Look at that. Spot on. Okay? Now, because I know that outline's perfect, and I know this bottom curve's perfect, this edge is perfect. Okay, so see that? No flat spots, no nothing. Now, next part, I've got to check this concave. Want to make sure the concave's running at the right depth. Yep. That's looking good. Now I want the concave to stop where the back of the fins are. So I'll show you how I do that. So back of the fins are 16.25. Righto, so right here I want it to be flat and then V. So what I do is I can just use my 40 grit block. You can do it with the machine if you want, but by hand's just as easy. So I give this see a little bit of V starting. Now do this side. Check the back. Need more V. Right, so I'll just show you again. The 16.5 inch mark here, I want that to be flat. That's where it transitions from the single concave to the double. Okay, that's it right there. And as you can see, it's pretty flat nearly, and then the V starts. So what I'm going to do is just take a fraction more off. We're just going to check it from the front first, see how it looks. It's looking good. So I'll just take a touch more off. Right, now we'll check that again. There's the 16.5 inch mark. I put that on there. That's dead flat. So when I go forward, the concave starts. And when I go behind that point, the V starts. Now I'm going to be putting a double concave in here. Okay? So just let me check the nose first. So as you can see, that V in the tail, spot on. Nose concave looks good. So what I'm going to do now is just make this concave in the bottom perfect. Just use my sander. Feel that. That looks good. A little bit here. That concave feels good. That feels all right. Now I'm just going to put this double concave in. Now this side, righto. So I've hit that pretty hard. I'll show you what it looks like now at the 16 inch mark. See the, sorry, get rid of that dust. See the double concave there now? Now to clean that up, I use my medium sort of block. Now watch this. So I'm blocking through here. I don't want to touch the edge. The edge is perfect, that doesn't change. Remember, you do not touch the edge. Now I'll just blow that down and show you what it looks like. So when you look at it from the tail, you see the double concave. That's shortboard bottom shape. That's the typical from early 2000. There you go, single to double to V. That was your typical bottom on most shorties. Now you feel this to make sure it's perfect. Feels good. Yep. Now let me show you what it looks like. So, it was a single concave. Then I made it at the 16.5-inch mark, be flat. So now from rail to centre to rail is double concave at the back of the fins. And this is where the release comes in with the V. Okay, go forward, the double concave starts, and the single concave all the way through, just single concave till it gets through to the nose. So that's my SBV model, shortboard bottom shape, and I'll just show you the nose. That looks pretty good. I'll just check this bottom shape, make sure there's no twist or anything. So I'll come up the front, see how that looks. Okay. That looks pretty good. That back here, check the nose. Because we've got a fair bit of distance between the nose and the tail, okay, that's got to come off a bit. I'm just making sure the nose and the centre are even. Not far off. A little bit more off there. Doesn't take much. Now, that looks good. Let's check that again. These are the little fine details. You really, righto, that's perfect now. That means from the center to the nose, there's no twist. Because the blanks do have little twists in it, okay? It's not always easy to get a perfect blank. Now just making sure the string is down. Righto. That's looking good. Nice and flat. Now I'm just going to put a slight chime on this rail. Not heap. Just a fraction. Just makes the concave not right to the edge, okay? It'll all be softened away. Righto. It'll all be softened away. See that little bit I've taken off there? Not much, because I want it, yeah, to be a little bit softer at the front. So, there we go. Done. Next, I'll just check this stringer down the back here. Just up a little bit. There we go. Beautiful. Now, next part. That foil looks good. I'm going to plane the rails. So, this is the way I come up. The idea I come up with doing it. I'll just... Right. So what I have my template. Okay, now with my template I have the full rail template, which shows the bottom edge. Sorry, I'm just having a eucalyptus, bear with me. Live eucalyptus eating. Beautiful. So I have my solid templates. These are like my shorties. So you make one up, make it to that, then finish it off with the rail like that. Okay, that's your standard for the standard shortboard rails. So you can see once you get it to there, you only got to take a bit off there and a bit off the bottom, okay? So they're all from my different sizes, from 2 inches to 2 5/8. Okay, they're your normal shortboard rails. These are all my mal rails. This is my low template. Now, I have this jig. Look, I've had it for 20 years. Okay, I'll just show you. Now it's a piece of plastic that's like the average top of a rail. And what you do is sit that there on the bottom of the rail. So you're on the bottom and there. Sit this on top like that. Sit that on top, put the tape down. I've had this for so long it's not funny, 20 years, right? It's a bit of ice cream lid with a bit of cardboard on the back to stabilize it. Now, all I have to do is shape this, the square bit on the end, to that shape there, which is really easy to do, and I'll have the perfect rail to that template. Then I have to take that off and that off. There'll be no mistake, no getting it nowhere near it or anything. So what you do is, you get this, you measure it, that's 30, it always is, has been for 20 years. I don't know why I measure it, I know it's 30. Put 30 here, okay? A foot up, put 20. A foot up from the tail, put 20. Now, you're not allowed to go past those points. Even when I was full production shaping, I still did this because they were perfect every time. Okay? You can do it without it, and a lot of shapers do, but that's when you get a funny board where it's a bit low or something's not quite right. Okay, foot up, 20. Now I've got those 3 points so I can plane freely and it'll be perfect, because I know that bottom edge is right, those points are right, so I'm planing to them. Right, let's plane. I'll show you how quick it comes up. Turn it on. Righto. Righto. Point, point, point. I'll just take a touch more off the tail. Right, that mark there and up the nose. Can't go wrong. Right, now, you see how I've been planing more on this rail? Okay, what I'm going to show you is how easy it is to think it's not quite right. Righto, that's 30, okay? That is 30, but see how it took a lot longer? Because that rail was a bit thicker. I didn't quite take enough off there. That's fine, but you see how I had to plane a bit longer. I'll fix that up. Righto. Now look at that. That looks good. Now I'm going to plane the top of the rail, this part. Right, see how it's starting to get lower? Now this side. Right, now I'll show you where you can get these little variables. See there? I've still got a long way to go. And there, I've still got a long way to plane down. Okay? So what I'll do here, take this down. Starting to get lower. Righto, that's pretty low now. Now, the easiest way to get it down now is with my sander. Now this is from production days. This is from doing 5 in a day. Okay, now watch this. Now, I'm not going to say that's easy and people are going to get it straight away and do it. It does take a few years to get the feel of it, but see that? I'm nearly there. I pushed that template on there, so I've got to take a little bit more off here. Okay, not here, just here. So watch this. I'll just check, I'll check it to make sure it's looking fine. Perfect nose, perfect tail. So I just got to take a cut through the middle here. Now watch this. Righto. Now remember, this is the rail I want. Righto. See how it's nearly there? It's so close. I'll do one more run. Now, there we go. Exact. So that rail is exactly what I want. All I gotta do is round those two edges off. Okay, sorry, I looked over there for some reason. The camera's not on the wall. Now, it takes a lot of years to do that, okay? But what I'm gonna get you to look at while I'm doing this is to look at how I don't stop, how I don't change the angle, how I keep it running the one line from nose to tail, okay? So just try and keep an eye on that. Righto, I don't stop. Same speed. There's the line. I'm holding it exactly the same position. See that? Lighter at the end, more pressure in the middle here. Now, what I've got here is, see that deck? It's perfect. I haven't had to do any hand rubbing yet. Okay, you see some people, they spend all day rubbing the board. you know, it's like they must love it. That's all I want to do. I check this. Now I can see where I've got to take some off. Take the battery off here. Sorry, it's charged. Now, a bit more off the front. Righto, so I must be getting close now. So I'll put that on there, push that in. You can see where I've got to take a bit off. It's fine here. I checked that. Okay, mainly in the middle, because the deck did vary a little bit. Okay, the blanks aren't all exact. So I take that down. Take this down. Now this is a very rolled deck, okay? Put that on here. Righto, it's nearly there. See how it's pretty close? Push that on, leaves a little mark. I can see where I've got to take off a bit more. So, which is nothing there, but more up here. Tail's all fine. It's all up the front. Righto, so it's more up the front. Put my template on. Because blanks vary, there you go. Nearly there, touch more here. Blanks do vary, okay? They're not all exactly the same. Put that on there. There you go. Spot on. Now, that means that rail's perfect. Or it's going to be exactly what I want. Now, I get my block. I just fine tune the tail. That looks pretty good too. I'm just going to take that down a little bit. Just want to make sure that line's good here. To this side. Wow. That looks pretty darn good too. Check the tail. They look pretty even. Now we do the same on the nose. That side's right, this side needs a bit more work. Looks pretty good. Right, I'm just going to clean this nose up here a little bit. The stringer has to come down a fraction. Not much. Just a fraction. There we go, that looks good. Now I'm just going to go from nose to tail, just to make sure there's no bump. So what I've done then is got rid of any chance of a bump. I'm not pushing down too hard. Righto. So I've gotten rid of, if you look down there, see there's no bumps. Now, the next part, I'm just going to blend it all together. Looking good. Righto. All done. So that's all done. Looking good. Now I'll do the bottom. I'll do the bottom half of the rail. The quickest way to do this is with the machine, but it's very dangerous. This can fuck a board in a second, so I encourage people to learn it, but remember it comes at very high risk. Righto, that just gets it off quicker. Then I use my 40 grit block. Righto, check that, that looks beautiful. That's looking good. That's looking good. Check that rail there. A little bit more off here. Yep, that looks good. That looks good. Now, next part. I get my 80 grit block because the 60 is a bit harsh. So I go to my 80. Just take this down. It's only the slightest bit off. Righto, so that's the rail done there. You take this little bit off, you take this little bit off, and you put it on its edge, this little bit, there you go, flip it over to the other side, take this bit off. Right, now we're doing this last bit on top. Comes off really quick. So, doing this front bead or edge. Righto, so that's the front done. This rail looks perfect. Now I did the back. slightly around that. I don't want to take much off that. And get this down. Same this side. There you go, so that's the back part done. Now, the last bit of the rail, this little bit here, doesn't need much. There we go. Now hopefully I'll put this on here and it'll be pretty close. Well, pretty fucking close. That's pretty good. And I'll do the other side. There's not much coming off this. Put the template on. It's pretty good. Now, so I look down here, I look at those rails. Yep, look good. Looks good. So the next one, I've just got to clean up this bit on the bottom because I don't want the tip looking that thick. So I just that looks better. Then I'll clean that up. That looks pretty darn good. So we're just getting that spot on. The rails look good, feeding into the center of the board. Now, I'm not a great believer in doing too much gauze. I know some people love it, but don't over gauze your rails. These rails are finished. If I glass this board like this, these rails will be perfect, okay? You don't have to do too much. So I do 1, and 2. Righto. Now I don't have to do any more to that. That's perfect. Okay, so don't over gauze your rails. If you've done all the other steps right, they'll be perfect. One, and 2. Now, I'll just clean up the top. Looking good. Clean up the other top. See that? Looks like a shortboard, doesn't it? those rails really do. Now the bottom, to do that, all you do is gauze the bottom in the concave. Okay. Do a little bit of the edge to the middle, where you soften it in the concave. To the edge, the middle. Now you do one pass with the 80 grit. You make sure this edge is right. It's got to be tucked under a bit. You don't want it square, you want it rounded. This side, there we go, look at that rail, see how it's tucked under. Now the last thing I do one pass of my final gauze. This just gets rid of those gauze marks, and this is the real fine stuff. I'm not trying to shape it. One pass. Okay, and that gets rid of all those rough gauze marks. You don't have to do two, you only need one. Right round, see that? There you go. Then I just get my light gauze and just do a quick check on the bottom. I'm going to take this stringer down a touch. There we go. Now I'm not going to gauze that now because I've got to go out and do some jobs outside, but that looks beautiful. Look at that. So this is my HP, the SBB. I'm slow myself down. I'll come back and just clean that up and just draw the fins on. Not now. Righto. That's the delay. So I'm going to turn this off. Ready? So I'm going to turn this off, and it takes 30 seconds at the end, so I'm just going to be quiet now. See you all later.